Well, my name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from Happy Personality 528 and says, "Am I the arsehole here for resenting my wife for not believing my side of the story? I, male 46, have been married to my wife, Heather, female 45, for 18 years. We have 2 kids, 16 female and 14 male. We work for the same company but in different departments. She works on a different floor of our building. We recently hired a new employee, Sarah, female 30. I helped her a lot with her training and even prepared a guide for her so she could catch up on the new role quickly. I told her she could drop by any time if she had a question. She kept coming to my desk to chit-chat. Even my co-worker Chris, who shares an office with me, noticed. I thought she was new and lonely, so not a big deal. She asked me to go out for lunch with her. I laughed and joked, asking if Chris wanted to join us for lunch. Then Sarah looked at me and said no, she meant just us to talk. Plus she wanted to buy me lunch because I'd been so nice to her. Chris gave me a look. I told her she didn't have to and that I was just doing my job. She insisted and I agreed. During lunch, she started rubbing my hand. I moved my hand and changed the topic to my wife, bringing her up repeatedly. She eventually said she found me attractive and wanted to be more than friends, suggesting we start with friends with benefits and see where it goes. She said she thought I wasn't happy in my marriage because I was having lunch with her and laughing, while she never saw me having lunch with my wife. I told her I was married and wanted to keep our friendship professional. She didn't like my reply and became quiet. I apologized, but she said it was all good. I paid the bill for both of us since it was so awkward and we went back to work. I received a letter from HR telling me they needed to talk to me because Sarah filed a complaint. She said I asked her out for lunch, inappropriate and handsy, and even pressured her to have sex with me, but she left. I was floored. Luckily, my co-worker Chris can confirm my side of the story. I immediately told my wife the whole thing and she got furious at me. She said she believed Sarah's side because she stands by the victim. I told her Sarah was lying. Chris can confirm she invited me. Also, I wasn't inappropriate. I didn't touch her and turned her down. My wife rolled her eyes and said Sarah is a gorgeous woman much younger than me, implying I took advantage of her. I was so annoyed. I've always been faithful to her. How could she possibly think of me like this? Luckily, the HR issue was resolved and I just have to do some training. I asked to move to another team so I won't be working with Sarah anymore. Am I the arsehole for resenting my wife for not believing my side, for taking her side without any proof? I basically barely talked to my wife since the incident." Matata said straight away to the OP, "This will get lost in the sea of comments, but I'm wondering if the restaurant has a video recording of the dining area. You could prove you're telling the truth really quickly with a recording of she getting handsy and you pulling away." OP says, "I'm going to check with the restaurant. It's a small cafe/restaurant within walking distance of our office." Cater's Haters says, "Speaking of intel, I wonder what her behavior/performance was like at her previous jobs. The fact that she pursued you and then reported false accusations to HR this quickly into a new job suggests a level of diabolical confidence in my opinion, or reckless immaturity I guess. Regardless, something ain't right and I wouldn't be surprised if this was some kind of MO for her. I don't know how you could safely investigate her past, but something to think about." Certain says, "Not the arsehole, she was attracted to you, made her move and failed. Then she retaliated and made the first move to cover herself before you can do anything. Also, I'd question my marriage if I were you. If your own spouse can't trust you, then she's not a partner." Narfel says this, "You weren't exactly smart about accepting lunch. Yes, there is a double standard and it sucks. It also sucks that your reputation will now suffer at work because there are people who won't believe the truth just because. It sucks that your wife sees you as a possible predator. You should definitely question your marriage and maybe do some counseling to see if this can be fixed or if the marriage needs to end. You should also file a complaint with HR and see about getting this woman moved to a different department or let go. You might not be the only person she tries this with." Opie came in a day later and said a quick update. I talked to my wife last night and she said, I really don't buy it that a younger, good-looking employee come onto you. I asked her, have I ever been inappropriate with any woman? Have I ever been handsy? She said, no, you joke around a lot, so you probably made some dumb jokes or something and offended her. I swear you're autistic. You can't even get basic social cues. As for being handsy, who knows? I lost it. I said, who knows? You should know. I expected more from you. She rolled her eyes and went to sleep. As for HR, it was my request to change team. I can't work with Sarah or see her every day. I'm so tempted to yell at her and say, what the fuck is wrong with you? Neither of us got fired since there was no evidence, so HR just gave me the talk. I have no idea if Sarah has to do the training or what happened to her. I went to the restaurant to see if there is footage, but owner wasn't there. I'll try again today. My mental health is a mess. My coworker Chris suggested to take time off to talk to a therapist and a lawyer. I might do that. Mag Zaddy says, wow, your wife sucks. I really hope the restaurant has video footage they can share with you. Opie says, my life does suck. I went from happily married with a good job to office creep, and who is the person I'm married to? If she thinks I'm too stupid, too ugly, and don't respect women, why are we still married? Firecracker says, I'd bring the hammer to HR. They're willing to take action against you for words, but when you have witnesses, they're trying to sweep it under the rug. Threaten to sue and demand a written, public apology from Sarah. Honestly, with your wife, that's different. Good luck with that. Philosopher says, take Chris's advice. Talk to a lawyer to sue Sarah and file for divorce. Your wife has zero respect for you. Manufacturer No says, yep, I second that. Only one who is on your side is Chris, and you neither sleep or live with him. Cheers up, mate, and listen to the only one on your side. Opie says he is middle-aged like me, divorced guy, and was joking that we should move in together and make a male version of Golden Girls. Divorced dads, and raise the kids together. Caters Haters says, the Golden Guys boys. I like it. Pool, old school arcade room, entertainment room. Sounds streets ahead of living with your disrespectful and cruel wife. Find your inner Blanche and live it up. Then Opie made a post saying need support. How did you know it's time to end the marriage? And said, hello friends, I posted in another thread that I'm going through horrible times. I can't live with a woman who constantly belittles me. Part of me feels guilty for leaving because I have 2 kids. How do you know it's time to end it? I'm just wondering if my marriage is salvageable. Thanks. Tragic replied to that one saying it's time to leave when you have exhausted all other possibilities. That means you have read some good relationship books together. You've tried to use a marriage counselor to fix the issues you have. Not a vent session. Cut that shit off if all it becomes is her venting. You've tried approaching things in different ways and nothing changes. Then you can leave without that nagging doubt in the back of your head that you should have done more. And when your kids ask you why, you can actually tell them you tried everything to make it work. You could even do a lie detector if she agrees that you pass, she apologizes and moves on from this. Opie replied saying, my wife thinks marriage counseling is for something men, starts with P, pussy possibly? So hard no on that. I've tried being more understanding, but she never even acknowledged. I don't even know what to do anymore. I gave up on sex because she every single time turned me down. I planned date nights or even date nights at home. I'm a pretty decent cook and do all the cooking anyway, so not a big deal, and still didn't even get a thank you. I gave up, lol. I stopped trying and now she yells that I'm so stupid and never do anything for her. Tragic reply saying, then it's sitting down and talking about what you both want out of the relationship and what isn't being met right now, in a calm, non-blaming way. If she doesn't want marriage counseling, what does she want? If she doesn't trust you, what will make her do that? Ask what she needs in specific ways, and if she doesn't want to work on it, ask if she wants to divorce them because you are both obviously miserable. Opie says she thinks things are fine the way it is. She thinks I need to work on myself to be more professional and less of a autistic goofball I am. And it sounded like, apart from what happened in this story as well, that the marriage isn't that great anyway. I don't know, maybe I read that in a different way. He went from saying that they're happily married to they're not even intimate anymore, or they have these date nights, which almost sounds like they're standoffish in some ways. and yells at you that you're stupid and you don't do anything for her. I'm just kind of like, what?